What titles are worth getting excited for this year? Join me and we'll find out. 2019 was an absolute fantastic year for manga and light novels, with so many great titles out there, a lot of which really got me excited to just get back into the whole thing and reading things. From titles such as Yotsuba to That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, I would say it's been a pretty decent year. However, there are some titles that I've already picked up and some titles I want to read that I'm just so excited to read in 2020. Some of them are getting adaptations for anime, and some of them are just overall great reads. Now, if you like anime, if you like manga, if you like light novels, join me. Just click that subscribe button, leave a like, leave in the comments. I want to know what titles you are really excited to see more of in 2020, and we'll start looking at them right now. First up is a light novel that I've been reading over the last few weeks, and that is Infinite Dendrogram. Honestly, this one has been such a fantastic ride so far. I've only read volume 1, so this is maybe a first impressions kind of thing too. In a world which has kind of been a little bit jaded for the amount of hype over AAA games, the amount of hype over VR MMO games, comes a new title, Infinite Dendrogram. It's proven to be ultra realistic, a title that people play and they just get so addicted to. The world is skeptical. How many times has this been promised before? Infinite Dendrogram delivers on them promises. The main character, Ray Sterling, finds himself in another world. Another world? That is a game. However, this isn't your usual trapped into another world isekai. This is just a straight up great fantasy MMO type game. Now, I know we have seen these time and time again. However, Infinite Dendrogram really managed to pull things out and does things a little bit different to what I would expect. First up, there is an absolute fantastic amount of world building when it comes to this one, and the characters that have been introduced so far, they're all great. I've really enjoyed them. I really like the whole different way of having characters as weapons. Yes, it's kind of a whole Xenoblade Chronicles 2 where your waifu is a sword, but that really worked for it. And I really found myself hooked on this new world that's coming out. I wanted to learn so much more. There's enough mystery, there's enough intrigue in it. I loved how they managed to do different things. For example, the main characters, the players, if they die, they just log out for 1 day or 3 days game time. However, if a character, an NPC dies in that world, they're gone forever. And I loved how different communities, different countries, they're using that to their advantage. For example, the kingdom that this series takes place on, that's already lost its king. It's already lost its powerful attackers because in a previous war, in a previous skirmish, another country's just like, yeah, we'll just take everybody out. And I really like that way of changing things. The kingdom isn't particularly the best place to start off. It's got a lot of faults, but I loved the way that it was really portrayed and how I just loved everything about it, honestly. It was one that I was really excited to come in and read more of. There is an anime coming very soon, so I would really highly recommend picking this one up and checking it out. The next one I want to talk about is Interspecies Reviewers. Now, I've spoken about this one a few times on the channel, and honestly, it's one that you're either going to love or you're going to hate. It is my ecchi choice of the year. In a fantasy world where monster girls are reality, a few men decide they're going to review them. They're going to look at monster girls in a different way to other people, and then just going to say, well, how does this one rank in terms of sex? And at first I was kind of unsure about this one. I was like, is this going to be one where I'm going to be like, yeah, it's going to be a little bit awkward, but a few things made me laugh. A few things made me chuckle out loud, and honestly I was reading this one and I was just honestly laughing my head off so much at it because it was ridiculous. It's over the top, it's ridiculous. Yes, it's an ecchi, it's a boob series. It's one of those ones where you can either love it or you're going to just be like, oh, I'm not too interested in it. But I found with this one that there was a lot of great content in there. It does manage to cover a lot of monster girls, and while it is primarily focused on the whole sex aspect, it does manage to show monster girls in a different way. We do manage to get to see, for example, the differences between succubus and lamia in terms of that kind of thing, and the whole review thing at the end just made me laugh. it's one that's getting an anime, and it's one that's going to get a lot of controversy when it comes to that anime as well, because it's not going to be to everyone's taste. But honestly, if you want a Monster Girl series, you want an ecchi series, I would definitely recommend Interspecies reviewers as one to look out for in 2020. Next up is a popular series from 2019, and one I only got into towards the end of it. However, I got into it, and I got into it hard. And having just watched season 1 of the anime, with season 2 being announced, I'm really excited to get more of the quintessential quintuplets. This tells a story of 5 quintuplets who, they look very much alike. They have a similar hairstyle, however they decided to change it because of course it's anime and manga, they need to differentiate the characters, and one unlucky character has the trouble of having to teach them studies. That's right, he's been challenged with making them all get a passing grade, otherwise, well, he's sacked. He comes from a poor family, he's a bit of a miser, he's a bit of a sarcastic hard ass as well. He's not this usual nice guy which we always see in these series. I mean, he's nice enough, he's got his heart in the right place, but he's not this usual pushover character that we've seen in so many other titles, for example Monster Musume or pretty much every single harem ever. He's a little bit more scummy than that, not quite as much as Kazuma. The thing I loved about this though is how different of a harem it felt. While we do get vibes of We Never Learn, it does manage to put itself above the rest. I love the way that the girls aren't immediately attracted to him after 1 volume. We're starting to get there. I mean, I'm on volume 6 now, but we are starting to see little bits, hints here and there, but it's really starting to focus on 1 or 2 girls. We've already got Best Girl Miku, but they're all really great characters. I wouldn't say one of them is particularly better than the others, except for Miku and Yotsuba. And this is the thing I loved about the series, is that it made me really want to put my hat in the ring and defend a girl, because a lot of these series I kind of just like, you can kind of see from a mile off who it's coming. I mean, I kind of feel like they're going to go with Itsuki, but fingers crossed. The reason I wanted to put it in as one to watch out for in 2020 is that there's a season 2 of the anime, and honestly season 1 was fantastic. It's one that I really got excited for. It was one I looked at and I was just like, I'm never going to enjoy it, I'm not going to be bothered about, but it was one that immediately, as soon as I read volume 1 digitally, I had to go out and buy them. Which has backfired because Kodansha seems to be on about volume 10 for digital, but volume 7's not even out yet. Darn! Back to light novels, and we have So I'm a Spider, So What? Now this is a title that I've been keeping up with for some time now. It may even become 2 or 3 years now. I've been in it for the long haul, and it was one of my first isekai light novels. This tells the story of a young girl who is killed in a class tragedy. The whole class is just wiped out by a meteor, and she finds herself reborn as a spider. However, there are some amazing twists, including the fact, well, the whole classroom was destroyed. What do you think happened to the other class members? That's right. And the way this series is portrayed is that it goes back and forth between the different characters. Yes, we have this whole kind of JRPG level up type system, getting all of these abilities, which we will see in titles like Rise of the Shield Hero and Infinite Dendrogram. However, in So I'm a Spider, So What? It really feels a lot different. Unlike, say, for example, the Slime Isekai or Overlord, this is kind of an overpowered protagonist. However, she doesn't start off overpowered. She starts off incredibly weak. She starts off as an incredibly weak character. However, that doesn't stop her, and it's very much a kill or be killed kind of thing. She struggles to survive in this world that has just thrown everything at her. Every little thing that you could think of gets sent to her, and she soon becomes incredibly OP. And also the stuff of legend. It's getting an anime at some point this year. I thought the anime was supposed to be last year, but apparently not. But yeah, definitely worth checking this one out. I would wholeheartedly recommend the light novel because it is one that is so special. We have other titles such as ReZero Season 2, which is something enough to get excited for. I wanted to also point out there is also Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. Now, this is actually an older title that has been out for, well, it's been out for quite a few years. And it tells the story of an absolute scumbag who gets killed and is reborn in another world. Oh yes, we've seen this so many times, haven't we? The twist with this one is that he is reborn as a child, and we soon see him grown as the series goes on. I really hope that the series does manage to cover all of his childhood. I heard that the manga kind of skips over a lot of his childhood stuff, but the childhood stuff is what made me actually like this character. The main character was absolutely detestable, disgusting. I was reading through and I was just like, no, this is not happening. I'm not going to enjoy this one. But it was a page turner. I kept going across it, I kept going through it, and I was like, you know what? This actually is coming out quite well. I absolutely adored his dad, even though his dad was also a scumbag. I really got to grips with all of the other characters, and a lot of series need to start focusing on and seeing stuff like this. We have the childhood friend, we have the protagonist who's a scumbag, we have his parents who do not die tragically, we have a lot of other things that we do now see as tropes. However, Mushoku Tensei manages to slowly plod along, and if it didn't focus on the childhood aspect of it, I just wouldn't be interested. Have you seen where a person is just reborn as themselves? What I really enjoyed about it really focuses on the childhood aspect of things. We see developments between him, we do see him grown as a person, and it's one that I would see, yeah, it's not going to be to everyone. It does feel a little bit outdated at times, but it's one that if you stick with, you might enjoy it a little bit more. And honestly, I'm glad I actually did make the effort to stick with it. It's not going to knock anything out of the park. It's just going to be a nice, safe little isekai, kind of like Rise of the Shield Hero, where it wasn't really knocking anything out of the park, but it was a nice, safe title that anybody could read. I want to talk about a title that, well, honestly, I don't know how it hasn't gotten an anime so far. And when it comes to manga, it's actually number 1 on my buying list. And that is Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon. Now, there are a lot of titles out there, and you know, I do love reading new manga titles. However, there's the odd title here and there where I've read volume 1 or I've read volume 1 and 2 and I've never picked it up any further. But Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon, that's a little bit different. It's one that, honestly, it's so good, I don't know how it hasn't been adapted. And I think this year might be the year for it. Delicious in Dungeon tells the story of 4 young adventurers who, well, they had to go on a quest to save their friend, the main protagonist's sister. And they soon find that this labyrinth of a dungeon, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to survive. You're going to struggle to eat everything. So they do that. They eat everything. Cue a story that is more of a cooking adventure than it is a whole-blown adventure. The characters are fun, they're interesting, they're rather hilarious to be fair, and I just loved how this series managed to continue to put out new ways of cooking. We start off with stuff like, the mushrooms or the griffins or the bats and the slimes, all of the ones that you would expect to see in a low level dungeon. However, it starts managing to throw some weird stuff out there. Living armour, portraits, golems. How are you supposed to eat from them? How are you supposed to eat them? This manages to find a way, and the new and unique ways of managing to pull this out, honestly, it really makes me excited to read more of it. Now, I've only read volumes 1 and 2, and it's always been a title that I've wanted to read more of. I picked up volume 3, and I'm looking forward to reading a lot more. It's one that I really get excited for, because it's one worth getting excited for. My choices. Let me know in the comments what you think, and is there any titles that you are really looking forward to and ones that you were really hyped for in 2020. There are titles such as Ping Pong and Jujutsu Kaisen, which I'm looking forward to getting to grips with a little bit more, but I wanted to talk about titles that maybe some people might have skipped out on. That's because that's been me and being weird and different to everything else. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for coming, and thanks again for staying. Goodbye.